Hello and welcome to the Elevate Your Life podcast. My name is Paul Croto and I'm here with Cheryl Morley.
Hi, super excited to be here. I think I say the same thing every time, Paul.
You do? Well, I'm glad you're always excited to be here. I mean, that's a good thing. Like, today I'm not really excited to be here today.
Today I wish I wasn't here.
I'm an average.
No, I'm kidding.
Now, Cheryl, talk to me about purple. It seems that purple's a new
purple
fad color out there. I don't want to call it fad color, but it just seems to be.
It's the in thing.
It's the in thing, yeah.
I don't know. It's so crazy. I found this in my closet today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is like so cute."
Yeah.
So I put it on, and then I had this, and I'm like, "Wow, I do. I'm kind of purple."
It is. It goes. It works.
It's there.
We got to do another elevate your wardrobe or elevate your. Yeah.
I would actually love that. Elevate your fashion.
Elevate your fashion. There you go. Another $1 million idea.
We have a lot of them, Paul.
Well, Cheryl, we do. But the key is to make sure we're marketing to the right people.
Wow.
We have ideas like this.
I should say, because not everyone cares about their fashion. Okay. That's just the way it is. And I'm not sure, Paul, I'm not sure if everybody would like my fashion. Probably.
Oh, listen.
But
you're the one that sets the trend, Cheryl.
Well, actually, I will tell you, my daughter doesn't like my fashion. She thinks I'm very old. Yeah, she does. She really does.
It's so funny.
Yeah. I don't care. I'm not. I'm as young as can be. I'm a spring chicken.
That's right. All right. We're doing episode 59 today. And we're talking about marketing online, where we have a series we're doing here. Today's lesson number 3. So if you missed the first 2, you missed a lot because there's a lot of homework to do. And there's gonna be more homework today. It's like we're killing people with homework, Cheryl. People are going to hate us and tune us out.
Well, but it is important. I will be the first to say.
Yeah. This is a big one. This is something Cheryl and I have done a long time ago and had monster debates about exactly who we're looking for. But it's really important to identify the ideal person you're looking for. So we're going to go through some things today to help you identify that person. And many of you might be like, wow, I've never even thought about this before, but it really, I think, changed our entire business and our entire focus when we first started doing this and really honing in on who we're talking to. So to start us off, so if you attempt to market to everyone, you are effectively marketing to no one, which goes against what most people believe, right, Cheryl?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding? I like to include everybody. And I think everybody needs to hear what I have to say. And so, when I very first heard this, but I think it did make a huge difference in my life, right? Because when I heard that, I was like, gosh, maybe that's true. And it doesn't mean, as we're going to get into this, we're going to see a little bit more that it doesn't mean that only one person is going to hear it or only one type of person is going to hear your message, but it just means that you need to be talking to just one person and think about it like that.
Yep. So we're just talking to you out there. No one else.
That's right.
So before you can craft your online marketing, you need to know who you are talking to. So as we're doing these podcasts, we have a specific person in mind that we're talking to. They obviously want to elevate their life, in whatever fashion, but they're happy, they're satisfied, but they want more is what the big driving force is. And we'll go into all the different characteristics of we're going to call it an avatar. The person that we're trying to create here and focus on. So this was something that really shocked me also, Cheryl, is that people are afraid that if they narrow down their niche, sales will go down. And the exact opposite is true. So what they're saying is if you limit the amount of people and you focus on one person to sell to, your sales are going to go down because you're not marketing to everybody anymore.
Yes, that's exactly why I wanted in the past to market to everybody. Yeah. Because I want to make sure that everybody can hear and then make their decision. But in fact, that's not true, because I think if you do that, then your message is confusing and convoluted. And so then I think and then you're confused, everyone's confused. And so I really believe that, but I really did think that, Paul. I really did think that if I narrowed it down, then my sales would go down. But what we found out, right, is that that's absolutely not true. And the exact opposite is the truth.
Well, it is, but so we're specifically talking about marketing now. And Cheryl, I know you have a 14-year-old daughter that thinks you're old.
Yeah.
Now, the stuff that we put out and the ads that we run for this wouldn't attract her at all because it's not geared towards a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, no.
You know, that's not our avatar.
But
Doesn't mean that she won't listen to it.
Right.
But there would be a completely different ad we would run for 13 or 14-year-old girls.
Right, absolutely. Well, that age group, right? So we're going to do it as an age group, maybe. But I think that's so true. And yeah, that's right. I was going to go into something else, but that's absolutely.
So it's just knowing your audience really is what we're talking about here, and
right.
coming up with criteria that helps describe what your ideal person is. We're going to go through that in this podcast here. But I put if you're seeing the notes are right down here below this podcast. Click on it and look at them. There's a circle, and in the middle of the circle, there's a dot. So the dot is the person you're talking to, but anyone in this circle will join you and want to be part of this. So don't think that since I'm only talking to this one person, that only that one person is going to join. Anyone that falls somewhere around that person will also join you and follow you. And this, has worked so well. I know, Cheryl and I know so many people that changed their marketing. Instead of marketing to everyone, they started marketing to women who own their own business. That's enough of a niche that that's a huge market actually, but when they did that, their whole life changed,
right.
and started doing that. So let's talk about some of the things that we can use, Cheryl, to identify who the person we're looking for is.
Absolutely. So, we talked about it just a minute ago, Paul, and you can just start with age. Like, what's the age group that you're looking for?
Yeah, teens, 20s, 30s,
yep.
40s, 50s, 60s.
And I do believe that especially the younger kids are going to be thinking much differently than the older people. I don't know, Paula, maybe when we get to be our age, then we're kind of all grouped together a little bit more.
Right. No, it's true.
But those young kids, like the teenagers and 20-year-olds, completely different, I think. Right. I think they're in a completely different part of life. So you have to be very clear on the age group that you want to work with. What about gender? That's pretty important. Gender.
Yeah. So we're going to go through a lot of different criteria here, and there's some that Cheryl and I use and some we don't use. So this one, Cheryl, at least for myself, I know you run Find a Fabulous and you love women, but
yeah,
you have just as many men on your team as women.
Absolutely.
So it isn't like, it's we're only marketing to women in this scenario. So you don't need to pick all of these, but you need to pick enough of them to where you're limiting your focus and who you're talking to. So honestly, Cheryl and I love dealing with kids that are 14. We have people on our team that are 65. So there's a huge range of people that follow us and are doing what we do and want to get healthy and change their life. So there's a wide range. I think Cheryl and we use, I think gender doesn't mean a whole lot to us because we have about equal. Education.
This one makes me laugh because it does, because education, you would think when I very first looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, make sure they're really well educated. But then when you and I were talking, it was like, well, it might be people who haven't been to school for 20 years, right? Yeah. And who maybe are looking for something that they can do instead of school, right? That's what I did. Yeah. That is what I did. You didn't do that. You did not take the same path I took. So that's fantastic because we've got both areas covered. But I do find it very interesting that I love working with people that don't necessarily, or haven't gone to school, because I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I remember 20 years ago seeing this bumper sticker, and it said, "Your A student works for my C student." And if you do some research on that, the amount of students that got C's in high school own more businesses and are more successful than A students. So there's not a huge correlation between what your grade point average was in high school and how successful you are in life. I mean, we can come up with tens of thousands of examples of people that
Right.
did really bad in high school, never went to college, are multimillionaires.
Yeah, I like those statistics, Paul. This might be one of my favorite parts to
Cheryl's
talk
getting
about right
all
here.
excited here.
Exactly.
All right, awesome. This next one is a funny one also, Cheryl.
Yeah. Marital status.
Yeah. So we were like, well, we should pick people who are not married because they're smart, you know.
No, I did not say that. You did. What I said was that if you're married, then there's a whole nother component to the whole thing, right? I've worked with a lot of people where, well, I'm not sure if I can do that or what's going on. I really have to check with this other person, which is totally fine, right? Because everyone's different. But just know that that is going to be another part.
Yeah. And maybe your niche market's going to be single moms.
Sure.
I mean, that's a great market, you know, so you focus on, okay, single moms. And that's a great niche to hit. Children.
Oh, absolutely.
They absolutely have them or don't have them.
Well, I think children is a wonderful niche just in itself. Kids. I mean, because I think that kids, so just even, well, I don't even know. I think parents will do more for their kids than they'll do for themselves.
Oh, for sure.
So I like the whole idea of people having kids.
So would you say you market more to people who have kids, or do you don't care if they have kids or not per se?
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other, because I think that sooner or later they may have them if they don't have them now. And if they already have them, well, then wonderful, because I've got something that they need. That's kind of the way I think about it.
Right. But if you're marketing to single moms, you also, what goes along with that is they must have a child at least to be called a mother. So you would this would be important to you if you were doing that. So some of these are going to be important, some are not. That's basically what we're saying here. Household income. So where do you stand on this, Cheryl? You're looking for people who want to make money, who aren't making much money now, want to make money, or people who are making a lot of money, want to make more money, or what kind of person are you looking for?
Well, I'd like, this is what I remember when I was in survival mode. I didn't have enough, even anything to focus or pay attention on something else, right? I was just in this survival, like barely making it, like I was about ready to, implode or explode, whatever. So I would like them to have a little bit of extra income, that they're, or maybe not be so strapped that they can't, that they all of a sudden, because I think what happens is people their minds close down and they can't even focus or do anything on anything else. So I guess what I'm saying is I would like them to have a little bit of, or maybe some resources that they could put towards, getting healthy, let's say.
Sure. But this is another one, Cheryl, where we know so many stories of people like you that if we said we're only going to market to people who make 100,000 or more, we would have never got you. You would have signed you up.
Right.
So, this is another one where whatever it is, and I've met people who make $1 million and are up all night trying to make 2 million.
Yeah.
So I've seen extremely poor people do extremely well with us. I've had people making a lot of income, double their income with us. So I'm not huge on this household income thing either, but let's just say you're Porsche. Okay. You're going after people who make $100,000 or more. They got to be able to afford what you're selling. So, in some cases, household income is the number one factor that you're looking for, especially if you're selling multi-million-dollar homes.
Right.
Keep on looking at homes, Cheryl, in Florida, because I really want to move down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just this $10 million home with this $50,000 mortgage is a little crazy.
Well,
Still trying to wrap my mind around the 50,000 going out a month to the mortgage payment.
yeah, Paul, that would mean that you'd have to be making at least 100 grand a month.
Well, if you take that college course or the Dave Ramsey course on this or whatever, I think
What does
it's
it say?
20% or 25% of your income should be your mortgage.
Ah,
So you have to make 200,000.
well,
So, yeah,
there you
not
go.
out of the realm of possibilities.
No, well, nothing is it?
No, absolutely not. I'm gonna be moving in that house and having everyone over for an Elevate party.
I do like that, Paul.
Let's talk about work experience, years of experience at that job. Again, something that I don't care much about.
I don't either, because with our mentoring program in place, I mean, that's really what I want. I want some different things. I know we're going to talk about that, but I think work experience, like I had work experience at Taco Bell, Paul. Not sure how much that helped me as I decided to become an entrepreneur and own my own business. But I do believe that I had some other things that are I believe more important than work experience. That's what I'm going to say.
So again, all of these things, may pertain to you, may not. This might be in certain circumstances, but again, for Cheryl and me, it's not important to us. Now, Cheryl, we're going to talk about all the things that are important to us, because everyone that's listening is like, I've got nothing out of this so far because nothing matters to you two. So what does matter to us is what they're afraid of, which is interesting. Like, remember first being in the marketing class and saying, well, what is your avatar's biggest fear?
Yeah.
Like what? And like, I don't have ESP. Like, how am I supposed to know that? But it's important. I didn't realize how important it is to know this before you start advertising, because you need to be known for a problem that you solve. That's the whole thing to marketing. Yeah. So what are the biggest fears that people have that we deal with, Cheryl? Who are our advertisers?
Well, one of the biggest ones is health problems.
Yeah, I'm deathly afraid of getting sick.
Oh.
But that fear drives me to do crazy things. We do the cold plunge every day. We exercise every day. We take tons of supplements. We drink tons of water. We eat super healthy. Like, that fear of being sick is such a driving force in our lives that we do the things that other people aren't willing to do.
Right. Absolutely.
But that's our people are big on health and are actually afraid of getting sick. Not that everyone's afraid of getting sick. But the next is the key, is that they're also afraid of medical doctors, because they understand that doctors, medical doctors who write prescriptions kill 493 people every single day. Yeah. So, this is something like, I want to stay healthy, but I want to do it in the right way. I don't want to do it, I don't have low blood pressure because I take blood pressure medication. Right. I have low blood pressure because of all the other healthy things that I do.
Right. Well, and I think when we say health, I think that is like such an important word in this whole thing, because I mean, I've got a really good friend that's a medical doctor, and she didn't learn about keeping people healthy. Right. She learned about just dealing with problems through medication. And that's not who we are. That's not what we talk about. That is not what we believe.
No, not at all. We believe actually the opposite.
Yeah. So super important. I love the next one, Paul. I love this. People who have a fear of living an ordinary life. I love that.
Yeah. I know you base your whole program off of this, Cheryl, going from fine to fabulous. I mean, you have to start off with the thought that the word fine itself is a 4-letter swear word.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it has to be that way in your mind in order for you to become successful. Fine is not good enough. I mean, it's like living life at 70%. Now, fabulous is living life at 90% or more.
Yeah. And I just have to say that fabulous to me means 90% or more. Yes. It also means being able to live the way you want to. like
Yeah.
how you want to live the way, like, I love that whole thing where somebody says, oh, I don't need a big house because it just costs so much to keep it clean. Well, let me tell you, if you're living in a big house, you don't worry about keeping it clean, because that's just goes right along with it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I think that I'll downsize because I don't want to pay someone to clean my house. Huh?
Right.
Like, I find that so fascinating. So when I say living at 90% or living fabulously, that means that you get to live like your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Really is what it is.
Sure. Absolutely. That's
I love that.
we're looking for. The next one's going to shock some people. I would say my single biggest fear. Now, you ask the average person, what's your biggest fear in life? They would say like spiders or speaking in public or doing a podcast. Would be up there. Snakes would be on that list. Yeah. But for us, for Cheryl and myself, working for somebody else is our number one fear in life.
Well, I don't even know if it's a fear, Paul. I just can't do it. I mean, I've tried. I've had so many jobs because someone would tell me, Cheryl, you need to do the salad bar. I'm like, I don't want to do the salad bar today. I think I'll work at the front register. Cheryl, you need to do what I say. No, you're fired. Oh, well,
wait, you found out you're better at giving directions than taking directions is what you.
Oh my gosh.
You've gotten through.
Listen.
Yeah. So we're looking for people who want to be entrepreneurs, and we go through the tax benefits and all the benefits of owning your own business. And it's not easy, but it's worth it.
But we help people do that, Paul. And that's what I love about it. I mean, we mentor them, we teach them how to own their own business. We teach them all about the tax benefits. I mean, that's crazy in itself.
Absolutely. Now so I always say the last one, but this is even bigger than the last one. I'm more afraid of this than the job thing.
Yeah.
And that's being either dead or dead broke at 65. Like that literally drives me every day of my life.
It's a real thing. It is a real thing.
Oh, it's more than real. 96% of Americans are either dead or dead broke when they turn 65. Okay. 96.
Yikes.
Yeah. So in the notes, I included a little diagram that shows where most people are at. 45.5% of people, Cheryl, goose egg. No. Nothing saved whatsoever. 65 years old. Dead broke.
Nothing saved for their retirement?
Not a penny.
Well, how are they going to live?
Well, we have another 18.8% that have less than $10,000 saved. I remember I was doing that. We did that last seminar and I mentioned having $10 million saved for retirement. I thought I was doing good with that number, but I remember Michelle was like, oh, that you'll never make it. You're going to drown. So everyone has their own opinion of what you need for retirement. But if you think about it, 65. So the average person lives to at least 75, but how many people do we know that lived at 85 or 95 these days? Exactly. Like a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to make sure you got money for that 20, 10, 20, 30 years.
Well, and it's living the way you want to live too, Paul. Let's remember that because, I mean, you have to have enough money to live the way you want to live after you retire. I don't ever want to retire, by the way, just saying. This
is another topic we'll actually be talking more about on Thursday, but yeah, this concept of having a finish line is fascinating to me, how that is the wrong way to be thinking.
Yes.
But 3% of the population at 65 have $500,000 or less saved. Now, if you take $500,000, which, wow, people are saying that's a lot of money. You divide that over 20 years or 30 years, you have like $20 a year you can spend. I mean,
no, sir.
It's super low. I mean, yeah.
It's not $20, Paul. Stop that.
It's a low number is what my point is.
I know.
All right, let's stop with fears and go on to what do people want. So this is another question. So when you're making up your avatar in your mind, you should actually do it on paper. You can actually do it right in the notes because you can duplicate these notes and just start typing in there and answering these questions. What do they want? So what does your avatar want? Again, in the beginning, this was super difficult for me to understand, let alone figure out. But after some work with Cheryl, we figured out what our avatar wants. So let's give them some examples, Cheryl.
Okay, so the first one is they want their life to be better than it is.
Wow, that would probably be a good want if we're going to have Elevate Your Life as our business.
There you go. And I think that's fantastic. And I believe that especially for young kids, then they're kind of in that mindset already. But when does that change? Because I do think it starts to change, right?
Yeah.
It starts to be like, oh, it's okay. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, because I think life hits people in the face.
Yeah.
And then they start changing a little bit. So, and I love this whole idea that they don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And if you have, you can say, no, I want something better. So I love that. I love that one. The next one, they want more income. That's a good one. Because I think if you're going to live the life you want and that you really have dreamed of, I think you're going to need a little bit of some money.
Yeah. And I know the next few are near and dear to your heart as well.
Oh, they want more time, freedom, want a better lifestyle and better health.
So this is a question I was going to ask you, Cheryl. So when you think of words and how they make you feel, freedom to me, I still, being a Marine or whatever, I'm still associating a lot of that to living in the United States and having the freedoms that we have, especially with what's going on in the world today.
Sure.
I mean, of course, I also think of financial freedom and time freedom and those type of things too. But let me tell you a word that really moves me, Cheryl. I figured out just yesterday: lifestyle.
Yeah, I think lifestyle moves everyone in their 20s. So maybe you're getting younger, Paul.
I am. Sheesh, listen, I'm taking these supplements and I'm going backwards. So I got to 49. I'm just going to go to 48 now and 47 and keep working backwards.
Yeah, I'm having a birthday party for my 40th birthday this year.
That is awesome.
Yeah, my
cousin. Big 4-0.
Yeah, my cousin Fletcher and we've decided that we are going to have a huge party for our 40th birthdays.
That is, I'm going to be there for that for sure.
I'm super excited about that.
Getting you 40 candles.
So yeah, but I do love the word lifestyle. Yeah, I love that word. I think, I don't know, Paul, I think freedom for me is where I'm really feeling it, because it's freedom and you already mentioned a couple of things, but I think it's freedom in everything. It's freedom from physical pain. It's freedom from mental and emotional, turbulence. It's freedom from all of those different things. And when I hear the word freedom, like I get like jazzed up. So yeah.
Cheryl is definitely the person that doesn't want to be in a box.
That's definitely true.
But I have to give a 51% win to lifestyle for myself, because that moves me more, because that's what I always wanted, was a lifestyle.
Well, let me tell you, sir, if you're not free from all those things, you won't have a lifestyle. So let me just throw that in there for you.
Point
but
taken.
I do love lifestyle too. Yes.
So what our point is from doing all that is you want to examine every word that you use in this thing, and really think about, is this really what I want my person to have, and what could be a better word to use? Because we're going to use these words in our advertising. So you got to figure out what word moves your avatar more than others. Wanting better health, of course, Cheryl. I being a community of people, community of like-minded people.
Absolutely. Communities, I think, been huge for people. Even just in the last couple of years, right along with that health, I think those are two of the biggest things that people are thinking about right now. Contribution, of course.
Yeah.
People never feel better than when they contribute. That's just the way we are wired. I believe that.
Yeah. So let's while we're talking about what they do want, let's throw in what they don't want.
Let's do that. And I'll tell you, this has never been more like on my mind. I was in the kitchen the other day, and Angelica was my daughter. She's just turned 14, and someone asked her, well, what do you think you're going to do with your life or whatever? And she said, oh, I think I'm going to do what my mom does. And own my own business. And they're like, oh, that's nice. What about what your dad does? And her dad's a lawyer. And she says, well, I've been thinking about this and I have decided that I do not want to trade time for money.
Yeah.
And my dad has to trade time for money. And my mom, owning her own business, does not have to trade time for money. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so fascinating to me that's really, that's how she decided, because she could really do pretty much anything. She's very good at school. She's very, very smart. She can do anything, but she decided that she does not want to trade time for money. And she wants that freedom that comes with that. And I love that.
Super, super great. What do they need? There's another thing. So now we ask, what do they want? What do you need? And so we in other podcasts, we talked about the 6 human needs. And what we don't want are people that have the need for certainty or have the value of security, which is the number one value in the whole world, is security.
Yeah, but we need to talk about that for 1 second, because we kind of blew up in our face when we had our meeting before about this, because people didn't understand exactly what we were saying. So when you say certainty, what I think happens when people have certainty, what we're talking about is they get closed-minded. They don't want to change anything. They're scared to step out of the comfort zone. They're kind of stuck there in doing whatever they're doing, no matter if it's the best thing for them to do, no matter if they get to live the life they want, but they're just certain. And the security part too is kind of like that. So I really believe that they aren't open to other opportunities that could come along that could really change their whole lives.
Right.
So when we say certainty and security, that's what we're talking about.
Yep. So if somebody comes to you and says, oh, you should do this, whatever that is, your subconscious mind is asking itself, is this going to lower my certainty in life or raise it? So going back home, more certain, like all the things that are comfortable are always certain, those things. Something you've never done before is very uncertain. So those people don't do new things, different things. Well, there's also a need for variety, which is Cheryl's number one need. So she has certainty way down at the bottom, as I do. But for Cheryl, she wants that freedom, that variety in her life to do different things. And that's just fantastic. So the opposite of having certainty would be having variety, number one.
Right. And the thing that's kind of cool, Paul, is we can change them, right? I mean, we can I think over the last little bit, I've really been concentrating on variety and growth together. So now I have both.
Well, we're learning new things every day. So that goes hand in hand.
There you go. Because and we do want someone who really believes that growth is most important.
Yeah. If we're going to, run businesses that are called Find a Fabulous or Elevate Your Life, it's pretty important that they want to grow.
Exactly.
And make some progress in life.
Yep.
Now, what problems do these people have? So this person we're talking to, you have to identify what their problems are in their life. So what are the problems of our avatar, Cheryl?
Well, and it's kind of what we just talked about, right? So it's the one is going to be finances. And I think, Paul, that especially now, that's really happening to a whole lot of people. Yeah. So not enough income. Health is going to be another big one. They feel good, but not great. Right. I mean, and I think along with that is well, anyway, we can go into that. I always try and get us off here. I like to sit and chat. Let's talk about a couple more. So we would love to have people who are struggling mentally and emotionally. Super important. So all of those things.
Yeah, they're struggling with finances, struggling with health, struggling with they're mentally. We can talk for hours about mental problems that are out there now caused after COVID. And all of this, as bad as people are struggling financially right now and with their health, they're struggling more emotionally.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a huge problem out there. So that's why Cheryl and I are so passionate about helping people with these, especially these 4 things, to elevate these 4 things in their life. All right, let's move on to our last category, Cheryl, which is characteristics of that person. So what are some of the characteristics that you want in your avatar, the person you're looking for?
Well, I'd like someone that is ambitious and hungry. That's going to be my very first one.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can bring me someone that's hungry, I can train him to do anything.
Yeah.
Which was always my lead, but I switched mine, Cheryl.
I know you did.
I found out that this thing called Sharp is super important. I met a lot of people that were ambitious, but they weren't very sharp. Let's just say they weren't the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Well, and I think what you're saying, and I think sometimes people can be a little too smart and a little too sharp.
Absolutely.
So that's why,
but
that's
sharp,
why
like, so, and Cheryl and I have gone back and forth on this for years about how brilliant she is. And she's finally recently bought into the fact that she is beyond brilliant. I mean, she's extremely sharp. I mean, she's the sharpest person I've ever met, literally. But did she get was she straight A's in high school? No. As a matter of fact, she made the top part of high school possible. She didn't go to college. So it's, and you kind of lived most of your life, Cheryl, thinking that I'm not smarter or I'm not sharp, but you absolutely have proven that you are.
Yeah, because of that though. So I think that's so interesting. And I think there's a lot of people out there like that. So
yep, absolutely. So we're looking for sharp, we're looking for ambitious, we're looking for someone who's teachable. So there's a lot of people who are ambitious, but will they actually listen to us and allow us to be their sensei and mold them to become the type of person that they need to become in order to have the life that they want to have.
Yeah, Paul, teachable to me means do what I say. I'll just make it real clear.
Yeah. She uses that on me all the time.
In case you're wondering.
And last but not least, I know these are two favorite words of ours. They are consistent and persistent.
Yes.
And I just think, Cheryl, I love saying both of them because consistent means you're doing it every day. And persistent means no matter what happens, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. I like neg you. That's my favorite thing. And I've been saying it like over and over and over.
Yeah. Never ever give up.
Yeah. Never ever give up. That's neg you.
Yep.
I love that.
You can't be persistent. I mean, if someone's persistent, they press on. That's how things get done in the world.
Yep.
So all of these things together, so hopefully you can do your homework and figure all these things out for you, and you'll have a good picture in your mind of who the person is that you're looking for, that dot in the middle of the circle. And then everything we do from this point forward in this course is going to be based on that person. So we're going to write all your marketing to target this person. And when the person sees your ad or your post on social media or whatever they're seeing, they're saying to themselves, oh my God, that post is talking to me. So that's the feeling we want them to have when they read the post. Like, hey, if you're a single mom struggling financially, and they're like, well, geez, they're talking to me. And then whatever comes afterwards, they do because you narrowed that down.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the upcoming weeks. I know this is a lot of homework, Cheryl, but we're going to do the fun stuff moving forward in lessons 3, 4, 5, and beyond.
Yeah, I think it's awesome because once you get these things answered, I think you're going to get much more clear on the marketing campaign that you want to create. So I think it's super important to do this, to get this part done. And I also think, Paul, that I learned so much about myself doing this. So that's another thing that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And let's let everyone know that we've spent, I would say, hours on this, but it's more like days.
I know.
Weeks.
Yeah.
It's a hot topic between the two of us. So we talk about it all the time. And you can have other ads for a different avatar.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like you can't advertise or go after different avatars, but you got to stay focused on, okay, when I'm going to this avatar, this is what my marketing is going to be like. So you're speaking to them. So, all right. Great job, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Super great class. Hope everyone got some value out of this. If you did, please share it with people you know. Subscribe to our podcast. We're trying to catch Joe Rogan. He's still ahead of us by a little bit, but
not much.
Not much. We're catching right up.
We're coming.
I didn't realize what his secret is, Cheryl.
Oh.
He does 2 hours a day.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're just not working hard enough is what we're doing.
Well, I guess I probably could do 2 hours. I get on here and chat
we could
about
talk all day.
Stuff, but yeah.
Doesn't mean everyone's going to listen, but we could.
Oh, everyone's going to listen. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, everyone, have a great day. Do your homework, and we will see you next week when we pick this online marketing back up. Till then, see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.